Commander Diana Wright stood at her monitoring station in New Athens, humanity's largest underground metropolis, watching as the seismic readings grew increasingly erratic. After 3 centuries of living beneath Earth's surface, the underground cities had developed incredibly sensitive detection systems, and right now, those systems were telling her something was very wrong. "Commander, we're detecting unusual vibration patterns in sectors 14 through 22, Lieutenant Raj Patel reported, his fingers dancing across the holographic display. "The frequencies don't match any known geological patterns." Diana studied the readings, her enhanced neural implants processing the data streams faster than any unaugmented human could. The patterns were indeed strange, too regular, too precise to be natural. How long has this been occurring? First anomalies appeared approximately 6 hours ago. They've been intensifying steadily since then. Diana felt a chill run down her spine. In 15 years of serving as New Athens security commander, she'd never seen anything quite like this. The vibrations weren't coming from below, they were coming from above. "Get me Director Harrison," she ordered, her voice steady despite the growing unease in her gut. "And initiate Protocol Omega-7. As her team scrambled to comply, Diana made her way to the Ancestral Archives, a vast repository of knowledge left behind by the generations who had built these underground sanctuaries. The official history taught that humanity had retreated underground when surface conditions became uninhabitable, but Diana had always suspected there was more to the story. The archives were housed in a massive cavern, its walls lined with data crystals that glowed with a soft blue light. At the center stood an ancient terminal that few had authorization to access. Diana pressed her palm against the scanner, and the system hummed to life. "Security clearance confirmed." "Welcome, Commander Wright," the AI assistant's voice echoed through the chamber. "You appear troubled. Show me everything we have on surface monitoring protocols from the first descent," Diana commanded. "Focus on seismic detection patterns." As the data streamed across her vision, Director Harrison's hologram materialized beside her. The elderly woman's expression was grave. "I assume you've detected it too?" "Yes," Diana confirmed, not taking her eyes off the historical data. "Director, these patterns, they match exactly with theoretical models from 300 years ago. Models specifically designed to detect extraterrestrial mining operations," Harrison finished. "Our ancestors didn't just build these cities to survive environmental collapse, Commander. They built them to hide." The revelation hit Diana like a physical blow. "Hide from what?" "From them." Harrison gestured, and a new hologram appeared, a massive object entering Earth's atmosphere. The image was live. "They've finally arrived, just as our ancestors predicted they would." Above them, across the planet's supposedly dead surface, enormous ships were descending through the atmosphere. Their design was unmistakably artificial, unmistakably alien, and unmistakably equipped for large-scale mining operations. "But why?" Diana asked, though she was beginning to understand. "Why make them think Earth was abandoned?" "Because our ancestors discovered something about these visitors, something that made them realize humanity wasn't ready for direct contact. Instead of facing a confrontation we couldn't win, they chose to disappear. To prepare. To build." The ground trembled as the first alien mining equipment made contact with the surface. Diana's neural implants buzzed with incoming emergency reports from other sectors. The visitors were landing at multiple sites across the globe, all corresponding to locations directly above major underground cities. "They think the planet's abandoned," Diana realized. "They're here to strip mine Earth." "Yes," Harrison nodded. "But that's not the worst part." "Show her," she commanded the AI. New data flooded Diana's vision, classified files from the first descent era. As she processed the information, her enhanced heart rate spiked. The aliens weren't just here for Earth's resources. According to the ancient data, they were looking for something specific, something that humanity had discovered first. Director, Diana's voice was barely a whisper, are you telling me that everything, our cities, our technology, 3 centuries of hiding, it was all to protect? A violent tremor cut her off as the alien machinery began its work in earnest. Warning signals flashed across Diana's neural interface. The visitors' drilling equipment was far more powerful than anything their ancestors had anticipated. At their current rate, they would breach the outer shells of New Athens within hours. Commander Wright, Harrison's voice carried the weight of centuries, initiate the Lazarus Protocol. It's time to wake up humanity's real defense systems. As Diana interfaced with the ancient terminal to begin the activation sequence, she couldn't help but wonder if their ancestors' gamble would pay off. They had spent 3 centuries preparing for this moment, building an underground civilization that was far more advanced than their visitors suspected. The aliens believed they were mining an abandoned world. They were about to discover just how wrong they were. Warning klaxons began to sound throughout New Athens as Diana completed the activation sequence. Deep beneath the city, machinery that hadn't stirred in centuries hummed to life. The real question wasn't whether humanity could defend itself, it was whether the cure might prove more dangerous than the disease. Because the classified files had revealed one more crucial detail, the technology their ancestors had hidden wasn't entirely of human origin. And its creators might be coming back to claim it. The command center of New Athens erupted into organized chaos as the alien drilling operations intensified. Diana's neural implants streamed data from all sectors, painting a grim picture of their situation. The massive vibrations from above had already caused 3 minor collapses in the outer tunnels. Status report, she commanded, her voice cutting through the tension. Lieutenant Patel's hologram materialized beside her. The Lazarus Protocol is at 60% activation, Commander. We're seeing power surges throughout the ancient defense grid, but some systems are still dormant. Show me the drill sites. A 3-dimensional map materialized in the center of the room, showing 12 alien mining platforms arranged in a precise geometric pattern above New Athens. The pattern wasn't random. They were methodically searching for something. Commander Wright, a new voice, called out. Dr. Isabella Rodriguez, the city's head archaeologist, rushed into the command center, her research tablet clutched tightly in her augmented hands. You need to see this immediately. Diana's implants registered the doctor's elevated stress levels. What did you find? The artifact storage in Section 7 just activated on its own. When the Lazarus Protocol started, it triggered something we never knew was there. Isabella projected a series of images into the air. These markings, they're not just decorative. They're coordinates. Before Diana could respond, another tremor rocked the chamber, stronger than any before. Emergency alerts flooded her neural feed, the aliens had breached the first protective shell in Sector 3. Time to evacuation protocols? Diana asked. 4 hours, minimum, Patel responded. We have 20,000 civilians in the residential zones. We can't move them fast enough. Diana made a decision. Dr. Rodriguez, what exactly did those coordinates reveal? They point to something beneath us, Commander. Far beneath us. The cities we live in? They're not the only things our ancestors built down here. Another violent shake, and the lights flickered. Diana's neural feed showed multiple breaches now forming in the outer shells. The alien drilling was becoming more precise, more targeted. Director Harrison, Diana called out, establishing a priority link to the city's leader. I need full authorization to access the deep-level archives. Now. Harrison's response was immediate. Granted. But Commander, be careful what you wake up down there. Some things were buried for a reason. Diana turned to Isabella. Show me these coordinates. Whatever our ancestors hid, we're out of time to be cautious about finding it. The next hour was a blur of activity as Diana led a small team deeper into the city than she'd ever been. The ancient maintenance tunnels here were different, the technology more advanced, yet somehow older than anything in the upper levels. "These walls," Isabella whispered, running her augmented fingers along the strange patterns etched into the metal. "The composition, it's not entirely terrestrial." Diana's neural implants confirmed the reading. "They reverse-engineered it, didn't they? Used alien technology to build our defenses." "Not reverse-engineered," Isabella corrected, her eyes wide as her tablet processed more data. "They collaborated. Commander, I don't think our ancestors hid from the aliens because they were afraid. They hid because they were protecting something. Something both species wanted." They reached a massive door unlike anything Diana had ever seen. It was seamless, its surface covered in swirling patterns that seemed to move in the dim light. Her neural implants couldn't even begin to analyze its composition. "The coordinates lead here," Isabella confirmed. "But there's no visible way to dash." Diana stepped forward, some instinct guiding her hand to the center of the door. The moment her palm touched the surface, the patterns erupted with light. Her neural implants exploded with data, information so dense and complex it threatened to overwhelm even her enhanced processing capabilities. Through the flood of information, one message became clear: they hadn't inherited weapons from their ancestors. They'd inherited a key. The door dissolved, revealing a vast chamber beyond. And there, suspended in a field of energy that defied physics as they knew it, floated a device no larger than Diana's hand. Its surface rippled like liquid metal, covered in the same patterns as the door. "What is it?" Isabella breathed. Before Diana could respond, her neural feed lit up with emergency alerts. Above them, the alien drilling had stopped. But not because they'd given up. They found what they were looking for, Diana realized. They detected the energy signature when we opened this chamber. The ceiling trembled as multiple mining platforms repositioned themselves directly above their location. They had minutes, at most, before the drills breached the chamber. Diana's neural implants suddenly connected with the ancient systems, downloading a flood of information directly into her consciousness. In that moment, she understood what their ancestors had done, and why. "Dr. Rodriguez, get back to the command center. Tell Director Harrison to begin full evacuation protocols." Diana stepped toward the floating device, her augmented systems already interfacing with its alien architecture. "Commander, what are you going to do?" Diana's hand closed around the device, and she felt power unlike anything she'd ever experienced surge through her neural network. "I'm going to show our visitors why Earth wasn't abandoned. It was fortified." Above them, the drills began their final descent. But this time, Diana wasn't worried. Because she now knew what they were really dealing with, and more importantly, she knew why her ancestors had chosen to hide rather than fight. Sometimes, the best way to win a war was to make your enemy think there was never anything worth fighting for in the first place. As the alien drills breached the final layer of rock, Diana activated the device. And 3 centuries of preparation finally paid off. The device pulsed in Diana's hand, sending waves of energy through New Athens' ancient infrastructure. The alien drills, mere meters from breaching the chamber, suddenly ground to a halt. Through her neural interface, Diana could feel the city's hidden systems awakening, responding to the device's signal like neurons firing in a massive underground brain. "Impossible," Isabella's voice echoed through Diana's calm. "Commander, are you seeing this? The entire city, it's transforming." Diana watched as the chamber walls shifted, patterns of light racing through previously invisible circuits. Her enhanced vision captured every detail as centuries-old machinery emerged from hidden compartments. But these weren't weapons, at least, not in any conventional sense. "Director Harrison," Diana activated her priority channel. "The evacuation needs to be reversed. Get everyone to the deep shelters. Now. Explain, Harrison's voice was tense. Our ancestors didn't build these cities to hide forever, Diana replied, the device feeding more information directly into her neural network. They built them to evolve. And it's time for the next phase. Through her neural feed, Diana watched as similar transformations began occurring across all major underground cities globally. The device wasn't just a key, it was a signal broadcaster, triggering changes that had been waiting centuries to occur. Lieutenant Patel's hologram appeared beside her. Commander, the alien vessels, they're retreating to a higher orbit. But they're not leaving. They're regrouping. Of course they are, Diana smiled grimly. Because they finally realize what they're dealing with. Dr. Rodriguez, what do your scans show about the city's new configuration? Isabella's augmented hands flew across her tablet. It's becoming a launch facility, Commander. The entire city is restructuring itself into some kind of massive spacecraft. But the technology, it's beyond anything we've ever seen. Some of these systems, they're not just advanced, they're hybrid, Diana finished. Human innovation combined with alien engineering. Our ancestors didn't just hide from them, they made a deal with a different faction. One that wanted to prevent exactly what's happening now. The device pulsed again, and Diana's neural implants decoded another layer of information. The truth was more complex than anyone had imagined. Earth hadn't been abandoned, it had been transformed into humanity's chrysalis, a place where they could evolve under the protection and guidance of alien allies who opposed the strip mining of inhabited worlds. Director, Diana called out, I need every citizen with neural augments to link to the city's network. What's happening next will require everyone's participation. Harrison's response was immediate. Already done. The deep shelters are actually integration chambers, aren't they? Yes. Our ancestors knew this day would come. They knew we'd need to be ready not just to fight, but to transcend. As if responding to her words, the device released a final pulse of energy. Diana felt her neural implants merge more deeply with the city's systems, and through them, she could sense thousands of other citizens doing the same. New Athens wasn't just transforming, it was becoming an extension of its inhabitants' collective consciousness. Through the neural network, Diana shared what the device had revealed. 3 centuries ago, Earth had been caught in the middle of a conflict between 2 advanced alien civilizations. One saw populated worlds as resources to be harvested. The other believed in protecting emerging species, helping them develop until they could join the galactic community as equals. Unable to defend Earth directly without starting an interstellar war, the protective faction had instead helped humanity hide and advance. The underground cities weren't just shelters, they were incubators, designed to guide human development along a very specific path. Commander, Patel's voice was urgent. The mining ships, they're powering up their main weapons. Diana nodded, unsurprised. Let them. Humanity's hibernation is over. It's time to show them what we've become. Through her neural link, Diana could feel the city continuing its transformation. What had once been tunnels and chambers were becoming corridors and control rooms. The rock and metal were shifting, reorganizing into something that straddled the line between architecture and living organism. And deep below, in chambers that had waited centuries to be opened, vast engines were coming to life. All citizens are integrated with the network, Harrison reported. Awaiting your command, Commander Wright. Diana took a deep breath, feeling the combined consciousness of 20,000 citizens flowing through the neural network. Above them, the alien mining fleet was preparing to attack, unaware that they weren't facing a primitive civilization hiding underground. They were facing humanity's next evolution. Director Harrison, Dr. Rodriguez, Lieutenant Patel, initiate final transformation sequence. Let's show our uninvited guests why Earth has been worth protecting all these years. The device in her hand pulsed one final time, and New Athens began to rise. The first tremors of New Athens' ascension shook the continent. Through the neural network, Diana felt the city's transformation rippling through every level, every chamber. What had once been tunnels and caverns were now becoming the internal systems of something far more extraordinary. Multiple contacts incoming, Patel reported through the network. The mining fleet is launching attack drones. Estimated impact in 3 minutes. Diana interfaced deeper with the city's systems, the device amplifying her connection. Status of the outer shield matrix? Online and stabilizing, Isabella's thoughts merged with the data stream. The metamaterial shell is responding exactly as the ancient schematics predicted. It's not just defensive, it's adaptive. Through their shared consciousness, Diana watched as the first wave of alien weapons fire struck the ascending city. But instead of causing damage, the energy was absorbed, processed, and redirected into New Athens' transformation systems. Every attack was making them stronger. Director Harrison, status of other major cities? Rio Profundo, New Mumbai, and Trans-Siberian Complex are all beginning their ascension, Harrison's consciousness replied through the network. Neural integration at optimal levels worldwide. We're not alone in this, Commander. The device pulsed again, downloading more tactical information directly into the shared consciousness. Diana suddenly understood why the mining fleet's attacks felt familiar. Their weapons were based on the same principles as the technology humanity had been gifted. But where they had stagnated, humanity had spent 3 centuries innovating. They're surrounding us, Patel warned. 6 capital ships moving into attack formation. Diana smiled. No. They're exactly where we want them. All citizens, prepare for full neural synchronization. What comes next will require perfect harmony. Through the neural network, she felt 20,000 minds align, their combined consciousness merging with New Athens systems. The city wasn't just a structure anymore, it was becoming an extension of their collective will. Commander, Isabella's thoughts carried a note of awe. The device, it's not just controlling the city. It's evolving with us. Diana looked at the artifact in her hand, watching as its liquid metal surface began to flow and reshape itself. That's because it was never meant to control. It was meant to teach. Above them, the alien fleet opened fire with their main weapons. Energy beams powerful enough to crack a planet's crust lanced down toward the rising city. But when they struck New Athens' outer shell, something extraordinary happened. The attacks didn't just fail, they were redirected, transformed, and woven into the very fabric of the city's metamaterial structure. Each blast meant to destroy them instead accelerated their transformation. They can't comprehend what they're seeing, Patel observed through the network. Their attack patterns are becoming erratic. Because they're used to facing victims, Diana replied, not equals. Through their shared consciousness, she initiated the next phase. New Athens' outer shell, now fully transformed, began to pulse with energy. The patterns that had once been decorative revealed their true purpose. They were part of a planet-wide network, connecting all of humanity's hidden cities. All cities reporting ready, Harrison announced. The network is complete. Diana took a deep breath, feeling the combined power of every transformed city, every integrated citizen, flowing through the neural link. Then it's time to show them why our ancestors chose this path. With a thought, she activated the device's final protocol. Energy surged through the global network, and suddenly the air above Earth was filled with shimmering barriers of light, a planet-wide defense system that had waited centuries to be unveiled. The alien fleet's weapons fell silent as their ships found themselves encased in fields of transformed energy. They weren't being attacked, they were being contained. Opening communications, Diana announced. Let's see if they're ready to talk. The response was immediate, a transmission burst from the lead ship. When Diana decoded it through the neural network, she wasn't surprised to find that she could understand it perfectly. The language centers in their enhanced minds had been preparing for this moment for generations. You are not what we expected to find, the alien commander's message stated. That was the point, Diana replied through the network. Earth wasn't abandoned. It was protected, given time to become something new. Something that could stand as your equal. She felt the alien commander's confusion through the transmission. Protected by whom? By those who believed evolution was more valuable than exploitation. By those who saw humanity's potential and chose to nurture it rather than harvest it. Through the neural network, Diana shared images of humanity's journey, the guided development, the careful integration of advanced technology, the patient preparation for this very moment. She showed them what Earth had become, not a resource to be mined, but a cradle of transformation. The choice is yours, she told them. You can continue to see populated worlds as resources to be consumed. Or you can recognize them as partners in the greater journey. Our ancestors made their choice 3 centuries ago. Now it's your turn. As she waited for their response, Diana felt the combined consciousness of humanity's transformed cities humming with potential. They had emerged from their chrysalis not as victims or refugees, but as pioneers of a new way of existence. The alien fleet hung suspended in Earth's transformed atmosphere, their mining equipment and weapons rendered useless by fields of energy they couldn't comprehend. Through the neural network, Diana sensed confusion and fear radiating from their ships, but also something else, recognition. Your signal pattern, the alien commander transmitted. It matches the Guardians. Diana felt the device pulse in response, releasing its final cache of stored knowledge into the collective consciousness. The ones you call Guardians, they didn't just protect us. They showed us a different path. Through the neural link, Isabella's consciousness surged with sudden understanding. Commander, the patterns in their ships, they're degraded versions of our own technology. They didn't evolve it. They just copied it. Because they forgot how to innovate, Diana replied, the truth becoming clear. They became dependent on harvesting rather than growing. On taking rather than learning. The device in her hand began to transform one final time, its liquid metal surface flowing into new configurations. Through the neural network, similar devices in other cities were doing the same, creating a symphony of evolution that everyone connected to the network could feel. Your civilization made a choice long ago, Diana transmitted to the fleet. You chose efficiency over growth, consumption over creation. But it's not too late to choose differently. Director Harrison's consciousness merged with Diana's, adding depth to the transmission. Together, they showed the alien fleet images of humanity's 3 centuries of guided development. Not just the technological advances, but the philosophical and social evolution that had accompanied them. You've been searching the galaxy for resources, Diana continued, but what you really lost was your ability to grow. To transform. To become something more than you are. The alien commander's response carried a mix of anger and desperation. Our civilization requires these resources to survive. We cannot simply dash. Your civilization requires them because you've forgotten how to create, Diana interrupted. Because somewhere along the way, you stopped evolving and started consuming. But there's another way. Through the neural network, she initiated the device's final protocol. The transformed cities of Earth began to pulse with new energy, not defensive this time, but generative. The patterns that had protected them now began to reach out, offering connection rather than containment. What are you doing? The alien commander demanded. Showing you what the Guardians showed us, Diana replied. The choice between consumption and creation. Between taking and growing. Your ships are caught in a field of pure potential, the same field that transformed our cities. The same field that helped us evolve. She felt the alien crew's shock as their ships began to respond to the field, ancient systems awakening that they hadn't known existed. Their technology, originally derived from the same source as humanity's gifts, remembered its true purpose. You can fight it, Diana told them, maintain your course of consumption and destruction. Or you can choose to remember who you were meant to be. Who you can still become. Through the neural network, she felt the moment the alien commander made the choice. Their ship's energy signatures began to change, harmonizing with Earth's transformed cities. The mining equipment that had threatened to destroy them was becoming something new, something generative rather than destructive. We remember, the commander transmitted. Our ancestors, they weren't always hunters. They were builders. Creators. And you can be again, Diana responded. That's what the Guardians wanted, not to protect some species from others, but to remind all of us of our capacity for transformation. The device in her hand completed its final transformation, becoming a bridge between two civilizations that had forgotten they shared the same origins. Through the neural network, Diana felt humanity's collective consciousness reaching out, not in defense or aggression, but in an offer of shared evolution. Your fleet is welcome to stay, she transmitted. Not to take, but to learn. To remember. To grow. As the alien ships began to power down their weapon systems, Diana felt the truth of humanity's journey settling into the collective consciousness. They hadn't hidden underground to escape, they'd gone there to transform. They hadn't been abandoned, they'd been given time to become something new. And now, as Earth's transformed cities hovered in the atmosphere, glowing with the potential of creation rather than the scars of conflict, they could finally fulfill their true purpose, not as victims or victors, but as teachers, reminding others of the path from consumption to creation, from taking to growing. The dawn breaking over Earth's horizon wasn't just the start of a new day. It was the beginning of a new way of existing, for humanity, for their former adversaries, and for all civilizations caught in the cycle of consumption over creation. The real evolution wasn't in the technology or the neural networks or the transformed cities. It was in the choice to become something more than survival required. Something that could transform not just itself, but others. As Diana felt the alien fleet beginning their own transformation, she understood at last why the Guardians had chosen Earth. Not because humans were special, but because they were willing to change. Willing to go underground, to wait, to learn, to grow, all so they could emerge not as conquerors or victims, but as guides for others who had lost their way. The device in her hand pulsed one final time, its light merging with the dawn of a new age. Not just for Earth, but for all those who would choose to remember how to grow rather than simply survive.